My name is Dave Moss. I tune approximately 3,500 bikes per year. This is Two Clicks Out.
Now steal the microphone.
Hello.
Afternoon.
Hey, can you do anything with a street bike?
So we've got DDC. You've got multiple settings.
Yeah.
And there's also got settings for preload and tension.
Yeah.
So what we've got to figure out is when you sit on it, what's the correct setting as a minimum? Otherwise you end up inverted and here, and the bike was never meant to be ridden as a chopper.
Right, no it wasn't.
So the first thing we got to do is go ahead, put her in, and then do some measuring and see, based on the different modes and then the different load settings, what's your absolute minimum value?
I think I just have like 2 or 3 loads. It's like minimum, maximum.
So we'll go through the dash and we'll look at it.
All right.
And we'll figure out where, okay, I'm gonna go ride by myself, this is my setting. I'm gonna put a load on the back, this is my setting. I'm gonna go 2 up, I'm gonna really load up, I have to do this.
All right.
So we can at least evaluate what you've got and see, you might only be able to take a light load and you're tapped because the spring that you have is too soft. So there's good information we can gather.
Okay.
So go ahead, ride it on up. Yes, sir. You need to stay there, relax. First thing we need to do is get into the dash on the settings and see where you are. So there's your suspension icon.
Oh yeah, thanks. All right, so I'm on dynamic and auto.
Okay, so let's leave it there so we know where we're at. Now dynamic is the bike feeling the surface of the road, and auto is trying to keep it flat.
All right.
So at this point, the key is, what does that give us with you sat on it to you off it? And how big is or small is that what we call sag?
Sag, okay.
Right? It's not investment,
Right.
it's actual tape measure. So feet up.
Okay.
So that is 500 millimeters. Okay, step off. So that's 32 for you as a human. And then we have to pull it up and we can't. So that's very, very stiff in this setting. Very stiff.
Very stiff? Okay.
And if we had the capability, you could come around and see inside,
Yeah.
right? The silver shock shaft. You can see how much travel you are or are not using. So if it's super stiff and you're only using 30% of your travel, that load setting is completely incorrect. It's way too aggressive.
Too aggressive. Okay.
So that might be your 2-up setting. Because it's so auto and dynamic.
Okay.
So now let's switch it.
All right. Should I sit on it again?
Yeah.
All right.
Because now we know what the starting point was. So switch it.
I don't even know how to switch it.
Hold it down.
Okay. All right.
So hold it and press it once. Oh, okay, fire it up.
Okay. Neutral.
No changing unless motor's running. So same here. Press once. Okay, now it's on maximum. So let's see if that made a difference with your weight.
I can feel the bike rising right now.
Yeah.
The back is raising. Wait, feet on the ground?
Feet up. So that's now 20 millimeters, so it's 10 millimeters less. So that's even stiffer.
Right.
That's stiffer than a race bike. So now hit the setting again. Hold it down.
Minimum.
There we go, let that go.
Going down. I can feel it lower a little bit.
I'm waiting for it.
Right.
There, it stopped. So that gave you 40 millimeters of travel. So now if you were to go ride on the roads, no load, that's your setting. But that's in the dynamic minimum for you.
Okay.
We need to move it off the dynamic now, so go back in.
Okay. Now.
So now hold it. You should be at Hold it down, and it should come dynamic down.
Wait, I went back to auto, huh?
Yeah, so
You go back to minimum somehow.
there you go, so minimum.
Did I do this?
No, because that goes, those are your vehicle settings.
Oops. Oh, wait.
No, that's all your ABS stuff. So press once.
There it is.
There it goes.
Road?
So road. Now, in setting the road, it's basically a much comfortable, more generous setting. So when I bounce you, it's a nice bouncy castle.
Yeah.
And for most people, that's an
That's good.
absolute no.
Yeah, right?
No.
Right.
So we know that if by accident you come out and you've got it on road setting, it's going to be
Right.
I've got to put it back. So now with the work done, it's going to be dynamic minimum for you to just cruise and do whatever and have a little fun. If you want to go faster, then dynamic, right? But the medium setting, not the maximum, is going to be able to hold everything up. So that might be your solo with load. And then the dynamic max is 2 up only, because it's just going to be a brick and beat you to death.
2 up only, huh? Dynamic
So
max.
you've ridden on dynamic minimum to start. Mathematically, it's tight. So at that point, the question is, try dynamic in the medium setting, not the hard, right? So go back in.
And are they're just
Push once.
road?
No, we want to go. We don't want road. There we go.
So there's just 2 settings there.
Yeah, and then hold down.
And then are there just 2
So
over
auto is your intermediate, and then we had max.
there? There's 2 on each, just 2
So
for each one.
dynamic auto, which you've been riding today, seems to be fine.
Okay.
But dynamic max may beat the living daylights out of you, but you don't know until you try it. So
Is there a way to know, is one better for the track than the street?
what makes you smile the most?
That's what
Obviously at the track, you're going faster, you're braking harder, everything's up. All the risk is up. So you don't want a floaty boat.
No.
So at that point, your minimum setting is going to be dynamic auto.
Yeah.
If you were to try dynamic max, you might find that the bike is just bouncing you all over the place and it's too abrupt. In which case, you now know dynamic max is 2 up only.
Yes. It's
So
2
that-
up only, huh?
That's how that works.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
All right.
Well, I think I'm gonna leave it to where it's at then.
Yeah, that makes sense. When you do all the research, put all the information together, that's what makes sense.
right.
But you got to start with the tape measure and know where you're at.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay. All yours.
Dave Moss can tune your suspension no matter where you are on the planet via his remote tuning service. Contact Dave on Facebook or by email, dave@davemosstuning.com.